I am the legacy of blood and brick, the son of Cain, who built the first city from the dust of his own damnation. My father was marked by God himself, a cursed wanderer condemned to walk the earth as a fugitive. Yet, he defied that very curse. He stopped running. He gathered the outcasts, the innovators, and the desperate, and he built a walled haven in the land of Nod. And he named this monument to his defiance after me, Enoch. I grew up within these stone walls, a constant reminder of my father's sin and his staggering ambition. The air here is thick with the sounds of hammers on metal and the strange, beautiful music from Jubal's harp, a symphony of human achievement that cannot quite mask the spiritual silence that hangs over us all. I inherited this city, a thriving, chaotic hub of human ingenuity. We have metalsmiths forging tools of impossible strength and artisans creating works of breathtaking beauty. We have structure and society, something the scattered tribes beyond our walls can scarcely comprehend. But as I walk these streets, feeling the weight of every citizen's gaze, I feel a deeper, colder emptiness. We have accomplished so much with our hands and minds, yet we have forgotten the one who gave them to us. My father's line is one of creation born from destruction, and I am the heir to this beautiful, hollow kingdom. I often climb the highest watchtower at dawn, looking out at the wild lands, and I wonder about the God my grandfather Adam once knew face to face, the God whom my father fled from. Then, the whispers began. Not audible sounds, but a pulling at my spirit, a quiet knowing that would settle in my mind during my solitary vigils. At first, it was just a profound sense of not being alone, a presence that observed my deepest turmoil over leading this people. During a violent dispute between the metalworkers and the herdsmen, a solution came to me not through counsel, but in a flash of divine clarity. I spoke, and the fighting ceased. The people looked at me with a new awe, but I felt only a terrifying humility. I was not the source of this wisdom. I was merely a vessel. Something was communicating with me. The visions started subtly, shimmers at the edge of my sight, glimpses of light where there was none. Then, one night, as I prayed for guidance, my chamber dissolved around me. I was no longer in my body. I was hurtling through a realm of swirling colors and impossible geometries. Below me, the earth was a tapestry of vibrant life and swirling dark stains. I saw ethereal beings of pure light moving among humans, and I saw other shadowy entities whispering lies into sleeping ears. I was witnessing the unseen war for the human soul. He called himself Uriel, a being of such intense, serene power that I fell to my knees in a realm that had no ground. His voice was like a chorus of chimes, resonating deep within my being. You have been chosen, Enoch, son of Cain, to see what is and what is to come. He explained that my lineage, my position at the pinnacle of human endeavor, made me the perfect scribe. I was to bridge the chasm between heaven and the fallen earth. My city of innovation was to become the cradle of apocalyptic revelation. Uriel became my guide, my teacher in this terrifying new reality. He showed me how to quiet the noise of the world to hear the singular frequency of the divine. He taught me to distinguish my own fears from the pure stream of prophecy. It was a painful awakening, like learning to see with new eyes. The physical world I had ruled began to feel like a pale shadow. The proud walls of my city seemed fragile, temporary, against the eternal truths I was being shown. I was being prepared, but for what? The journeys began in earnest. My spirit was lifted from my body, carried on currents of celestial wind to the very foundations of the universe. I saw the storehouses of hail and snow reserved for a day of wrath. I witnessed the sun and moon moving with mathematical precision along paths laid down at the dawn of time. I was shown the tree of life, its roots plunged into the heart of creation, its fruit pulsating with a light that promised eternity. The order of it all was overwhelming, a stark contrast to the chaotic pride of my city. Then Uriel showed me the Watchers, 200 glorious angels, appointed as guardians to mankind. I watched in my vision as they initially performed their duties with joy, teaching humanity the basics of agriculture, medicine, and law. But a corruption took root. Their leader, Shemyaza, gazed upon the daughters of men not with compassion, but with a forbidden, consuming desire. I felt the shift in their celestial hearts, a move from service to selfish obsession. A dreadful pact was made among them, a rebellion forged in lust. The fall was swift and devastating. The Watchers took human wives, and in their arrogance, they gifted their brides with forbidden knowledge as dowries. Azazel taught the crafting of swords and armor, turning plowshares into instruments of death. Others taught sorcery, astrology, and the art of deception through cosmetics. This was not the slow, honest progress of my city. This was a violent injection of divine power into a world not ready to wield it. I saw the knowledge spread like a plague, twisting hearts and fueling unspeakable vanities. The offspring of these unholy unions were the Nephilim. They were not merely tall men, they were giants, their very frames warped by angelic power trapped in mortal flesh. In my visions, I saw them stomping through villages, their laughter like thunder as they devoured entire harvests, demanding worship and sacrifice from terrified populations. They were demigods of appetite and violence, and the earth cried out beneath their weight. The stench of their corruption reached the highest heavens, and the divine presence recoiled in grief. The stage was set for a reckoning. When I presented their plea before the glorious, terrifying throne of the Most High, the response was not anger, but a profound, sorrowful finality. The voice that spoke shook the foundations of my spirit. Their judgment is just. They have defiled themselves and corrupted my creation. The waters of the deep will be unleashed to cleanse this wound. But then, a thread of hope was offered, not for the Watchers, but for humanity. A righteous man named Noah, from the line of Seth, would be preserved. An ark would be his salvation, a seed for a new world. My divine commission was made terrifyingly clear. I was to become the scribe of the apocalypse. I was to record everything: the rebellion, the corruption, the coming deluge, and the promise of redemption that lay beyond the wrath. I was given a stylus that felt like lightning in my hand, and scrolls of a material that was not of this earth. As I wrote, the words flowed through me, a torrent of divinely dictated truth. I described celestial geography, named the fallen stars, and chronicled the precise nature of their sins for all future generations to read. The weight of this knowledge was crushing. I would stand before my people, my city buzzing with its mundane dramas, and see through it all to the vision of churning, black waters rising above our highest towers. I knew that every innovation, every song, every brick laid in this proud city was destined to become silt at the bottom of an ocean. The laughter of children in the streets was a haunting melody, for I knew their future. I was a ghost in my own life, speaking words of leadership while my heart was filled with a terrifying prophetic grief. Uriel revealed the final, most shocking part of my destiny. "You will not see the waters rise, Enoch." I stared at him, not comprehending. "Your walk with God has pleased him. You will not suffer the death of other men." A trembling hope ignited within me. Translation: my earthly body would be transformed, and I would be taken directly into the heavenly realm. This was not an escape from the judgment, but a divine affirmation that relationship with God could transcend even the curse of death that hung over all of Adam's lineage. As my time on earth shortened, my visions intensified. I was shown epics far beyond the flood, kingdoms of iron and clay, empires of unspeakable pride, and a final, ultimate judgment where the true Son of Man would reign in righteousness. I wrote it all down, my hand moving tirelessly. My book grew, a comprehensive record of heaven's perspective on Earth's tragic, beautiful story. It contained secrets about the movements of the stars, the names of the winds, and the very structure of righteous living. It was a guide, a warning, and a promise, sealed for a time to come. I began my final walk through the city I had loved and led. I touched the cold stone of the walls my father built, heard the familiar clang of Tubal-Cain's hammer, but it all felt distant, like a dream from which I was about to awaken. I climbed to my watchtower one last time. The people below saw me, little knowing they were witnessing my last moments in their world. I looked up, not at the horizon, but into the heavens, my heart pounding not with fear, but with a desperate, holy anticipation. The air around me began to hum, a vibration that was felt rather than heard. The sunlight intensified, not from the sky, but from beings of pure energy materializing around me, Uriel and others of his host. Their glory was no longer veiled. I felt my physical form beginning to change, not disintegrating, but transforming, becoming something new, something capable of enduring the splendors of the divine realm. A peace that defied all understanding flooded my entire being. The grasp of the earthly world loosened its hold. I did not die. I was taken. The city, the world, everything I had known shrank below me into a mere speck in the vast canvas of creation. I was translated, swept up into the presence of the God my father had fled. The book I left behind, my testimony, my warning, would now begin its own perilous journey through history. I knew, with absolute certainty, that forces would seek to destroy it, to bury these dangerous truths. But I also knew, with that same certainty, that truth has a way of resurrecting itself. The story was far from over. Centuries turned into millennia in the blink of an eye from my new perspective. I watched from the heavenly realms as my book was cherished, then contested, then violently suppressed. I saw church leaders, fearful of its power, declare it forbidden, ordering every copy burned, trying to erase my name and my testimony from human memory. But they did not account for the faithfulness of a distant, rugged land. In the highlands of Ethiopia, devout scribes protected the sacred text, copying it meticulously, preserving the explosive truths about the Watchers, the Nephilim, and the coming judgments, ensuring it would not be lost forever.